Hey, Dad, want to have a catch?
I'd like that.
Awesome. Welcome to the Have a Catch podcast. This is our first episode. For those of you who don't know us, my name is Josh Klein. I am here with my father. Who are you? Tell me who you are.
I'm Richard Klein. I'm his father.
The man, the myth, the man, the myth, the legend. Um, we're starting this podcast. It's called a Have a Catch podcast because my father and I grew up having catch with my dad. And if those of you are familiar with having catch with a parent, you can talk during it and you talk life when you play catch. You talk about life. So my dad and I are essentially still doing that, but I'm in New Jersey, he's in Baltimore. But we're having those life conversations. We talk a lot of bullshit and we also talk real stuff. And our conversations, I'm 41, turning 42. Would you like to Dad, do you want to share how old you are? You don't have to.
No, I'm happy to be here. So, yes, I'm going to be 77 in July. So I'm actually 76 and a half.
You look great. You look great.
Thanks.
Oh, is today your half birthday? Oh, the other day was your half
A couple
birthday.
days ago, the
Yeah.
21st.
Um,
Yes.
the so the version of our conversations with my dad and I have taken a new level. My mother died in October. It's January of 2026. My mother died in October 2023. Um, so it's almost 2.5 years since mom's been gone.
Yeah.
My dad just she my dad and my mom's 50th anniversary was a few weeks ago. And
January
then my
10th.
on January 10th, and then my mom's birthday was 2 days ago. She would have been 75.
Right.
So the level of my dad and I still talk a lot of shit, but and we've always had real and meaningful conversations, but when mom died, it took like a new one. We started talking more. We already talked a lot, but we talked even more. And I guess the intensity and the sharing of grief really stepped up. Because we were grieving, especially you, having been this being your partner and best friend for a while. Um, so that's who we are. That's sort of the context for getting this conversation going. And this being our first episode, I just, mom's birthday was the other day. Dad, like what'd you do? How was it? Tell me about how that went for you. It's been 2.5 years almost 2.5 years since mom's been gone. That first birthday, you and I went to her grave, and that was really, really tough. But this is like, I guess, the third one
Third
since
one.
mom's been gone. So,
Yeah.
like, I don't know what was each one getting better, easier and easier. Like, how was that the other day?
Well, it was still weird. I mean, what makes it, it's just weird. It was weird to see on the grave marker her name and birthday and her name in English and her name in Hebrew and all that stuff. And especially seeing the name Klein on there was really just really strange. I mean, and it just is. But it's good to do that. Was it like when you and I went there? No, that's a whole lot different. Time has a way of sort of soothing these kinds of things. And you also, I mean, you have to start to move on in your life. I certainly still love her. I spent a whole lot of my life with her, and so it's difficult, and these moments are difficult, but they're not as difficult as the 2 years ago when you and I went there for the first time after the funeral on her birthday.
Yeah, the
So
funeral was in October.
yeah,
Oh wait,
I don't think I waited till January to go. I
when was the gravestone up? It wasn't actually up that first
No,
birthday.
no, 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 no. It was the unveiling was it April, May, somewhere
Oh,
around
you and I
there?
went, there was just like a
No,
stick with her name.
well, a plaque, or yeah, like a plaque
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
I don't think.
And that was
But
like absolutely
yeah,
crushed. That
well, I
was
don't. Yeah, no,
devastating.
yeah, I think my knees crumbled, but I just don't. Yeah, it's just different. I mean, it's easier. It is. It is easier. Um, but it's still very strange. Still very strange.
You,
Um,
yeah. You said seeing the name Klein, is that like part of like your own mortality or something? Like when mom died or in the last couple years, do you like is that because you're Klein? Like that's
right, and well, it's like you know, I see the condo next door to her. You know who that's reserved for.
yeah, that's right.
Holy shit, that's very weird. So, so
Right.
that,
So there's already some real estate you've invested in that you know is
right, right. Well, that's right. But
a permanent residence.
very permanent. It's not like you're going to downsize too much after that. But that I mean that I think hit me the day of the funeral more than any other time. I don't see it that way now. Do I deal with my own my own mortality? Yeah, you do. I mean, I do. Do I? Am I very thankful for you know that I'm alive every day? Am I grateful? And I do my gratitudes business every day, and so yeah, I have a lot to be thankful for. Let's see if I can move this over. No, okay. Yeah.
Don't
So
touch it.
anyway,
Don't touch it. It
I'm
looks
not
good. It
so
looks good. Don't mess with it.
so anyway, yeah, it's just it's sort of odd, but you have to, I think as we have talked before, and the way I'm looking at dealing with all of this stuff is that you have to, your life is like a book, and a book has chapters, just like we have chapters. We were kids, then we were teenagers, then we were, you know, before or dating, and then Peely and I had Peely's our nickname. I'm just telling the
Oh,
group.
good job. I was about to do that. Good catch, Dad. Yeah, to
So
the
anyway,
folks, if God willing, we have people listening to or watching our podcast, webcast, whatever we do with this. Um, and I was explaining to my dad, I was like, let's have a conversation just like we always do. But I'll catch it if there's anything I need to address for the uninitiated. So good catch, Dad. Yeah, Peely was the nickname for my mom. Her name was Phyllis Klein. And my sister started calling her Peely, Phyllis, Peely,
right.
and it stuck. Everyone called her that. And then when she became a grandma, shoot, almost 20, 19 years ago, we were like, hey, what do you want to be called? Do you want to be, and we're a Jewish family. We're like, do you want to be a Safta? Do you want to be a Bubby or whatever? She's like, no, still stick with Peely. It's great,
Yeah.
great grandma nicknames. Everyone calls her, every friends and family, everyone calls her
All of
Peely.
us, everybody is, that we talk to
That's a good play.
that, calls her Peely now. So it's a nice name. It's an endearing name. It's a name
It's
that
on her gravestone, right?
it
Her
is at the
nickname.
very end of it. It says "Our Peely," so that's very nice. Um, so it's all good. It's all good, really.
And
So
you went by yourself to see the grave.
yeah, no, I went by myself. I did. Yeah, yeah. And I didn't stay at long. At one point, I think after she died, I took one of those camping chairs out of my car and I sat there and talked to her, and but I'm not sure how helpful that truly is. I don't know, but it's what I did. but now I was there, and I probably wasn't there more than 5 minutes. No, I wasn't there more than 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So I did that. And then I have somebody. I had to visit Uncle Mark too, so I did that. And then, you know,
Yeah, whenever you go there, because your best friend's buried there too, so you also
right, right.
parlay it
That's
with
Uncle
visiting
Mark, who we
him.
call him. Yeah, and when I go to see Peely, I always paint a rock, and I put it
Oh,
there. So,
yeah,
some of the
In
rocks.
Jewish tradition, you leave a rock on the gravestone, but you paint one for her?
Do I what?
You paint one for her.
Every time I've gone, I've painted
That's
a
really
rock.
sweet. I don't know if I knew that.
Oh yeah, I have. I have these two bottles of nail polish. And no, wait a minute. So,
He has
so I paint.
My
I
father
painted.
has a 19-year-old and 16-year-old granddaughters who have a lot of stuff at his house.
Right. So some of it I did. I kept. I didn't get rid of. So anyway, so I just paint the rock, and then I try to paint a heart on it with the other color.
That's so sweet.
So that's what I do. So, over time, the rocks get knocked off or everything, whatever it is. So the painted rocks I knew were mine. So I just put those back on there with the freshly painted one. And it's a
Yeah,
nice
at
feeling.
Jewish cemeteries, people take other people's rocks and put it on like their family stone. Like now that you marked them, you should look at other people's graves and be like, "Hey, he
As soon
stole
as
it."
all be painted. So,
Yeah,
but
my
yeah,
Meyer Abramowitz has my heart
that's
on
right.
his
Right.
gravestone.
Right.
That was
Right.
for my wife. That was for Peely.
That's right. And if it's there, I'm going to take it off and leave them a note. See, this
Yeah,
is what happens.
eat shit and well, you already did the second part. Um, that's really nice. That's really nice. Yeah. You said I don't know. You said I used to bring a chair, and you were like, I don't know if that's a good
Once.
thing.
Right.
Well, at the time, like I don't know. You want to talk to the person. You want to give her updates. You know what? Or are you sure that? Do you say you're not sure if that was a good thing? Because I don't know, like it's bad to dwell in it or to live in that
Well,
sadness.
I think living at that moment is fine. Yeah, so I don't have any problem. I have no problem sharing that with you or anybody. But I don't do that. I don't know that. I don't. Wouldn't. I
Right,
don't want to do that today.
if you were
Right.
still doing that, then maybe you've really gone past the threshold of the depth of
Right.
sadness that I hate
Right.
using the word should. There's a lot of judgment in should,
Yeah.
but like you should be out of that by now.
Yeah.
That thing
Absolutely.
like
It's
because
just like
the intensity of sadness, because I know people were worried about you.
that's what I
Um,
heard.
that's what you heard. And like I
No, I
think
mean
it's just like you
afterwards.
gotta give somebody time, It's like let's see, it's okay to be in the depth of like, you felt like part of your soul got ripped away from you, like on a mystical level it did happen. That's like on a cosmic and mystical kabbalistic level, like that's what happened, right? Like so you've got to go through that and
You do.
people also you're like a happy-go-lucky guy. So if you're not that way, people are like, oh, like
Right.
Richard, man, he's not doing well. Well, it's like, well, he's not, but he's like not supposed to be doing well right now. He needs time.
You do. And I mean, that's why in the Jewish religion, you mourn for 30 days. That's my obligation as a spouse. Your obligation as a son is to mourn longer than that. So I have a 30-day Shiva period time. Did I stop saying the Kaddish prayer for her in 30 days? No, I didn't. I needed to carry it longer than that. And then after that happened, I substituted actually a Shakespearean sonnet for that. And then gradually I could feel that that's
Where'd
changing
you come up
too.
with that? Did someone tell you to do that, or you found?
Now I thought that saying the Kaddish prayer that much longer was not appropriate, but I needed to do something.
Right,
So I
because
thought
you're
a
only
nice,
supposed to say Kaddish. For those that aren't Jewish listening to this, Kaddish is a prayer, is the mourner's prayer. So you're obligated to say it for 30 days.
As a spouse,
Right.
yes,
And I was obligated to say it for 11 months.
right,
But mourning is different, right? You have certain legal, Talmudic,
yes,
halachic
yeah.
requirements, but like a mom, like, she was my mom for however long I've been around, right? So
Well,
39 and
you're a blood relative. I think that has something to do.
that's something to do with it, right? But
Yeah, I'm
also,
not.
yeah, so like, I knew mom 39 and a half years, you knew her longer than that.
Yeah,
And she's also your best friend and your partner. And
yeah.
the mourning obligation is shorter for intentional reasons, and some of them I'm not really sure, but like you emotionally letting go will probably take the longest over anybody else in the world, you
Well,
know?
I think one of the reasons for that is that for a child or a relative who doesn't live at home, you go back to your world of driving the kids to school, going to sporting events with your kids, going to PTA meetings, do whatever. You've got your own significant other,
Yeah,
whatever.
it's not in my face all the time.
That's right. So, so when everybody leaves after that Shiva week, then you're alone,
Yeah, you're alone
all by yourself.
in a house that just reeks of mom, right?
Right.
Or
Well, it is. That's right. I mean, it does,
yeah.
except for the room I'm in now. So you
For
got
those, yeah, for those watching for those who aren't watching, my dad's in his man cave. It is, tell me someone who has more memorabilia than him and they're a billionaire or the Smithsonian. There's nobody's got more memorabilia, sports memorabilia and baseball memorabilia than this guy.
well, it's my fun stuff. It's not, well, anyway, it's just what I have. So, so the thing is, you get into bed every night, you're getting into bed by yourself, and you're getting up every morning by yourself and having, breakfast by yourself and that sort of thing. But, so, and then, but those things that you do in the beginning, you've got to give them up, but it takes time to do that. You can't identify an amount of time, you know, because everybody's different and everybody and no nobody really knows what you're going through. People worry about you this and that, but they don't really. Nobody really understands what you go through when well, that you become a caregiver and all that means and all that goes with that, and then the person dies. So it's not a fun moment in time. The only other people that have some sort of understanding about that are people that have gone through the same experience. But even their experiences are different than yours because we're
Yeah, it has the
different people.
specific nuances that were specific to them,
Right, right. But
and
you, but you
but there's a lot more mental and emotional relatability.
yes, as opposed to someone who was married and got divorced, that sort of
Right.
thing.
Or
You come
someone
from
who lost the same person but wasn't their caretaker, husband, wife,
right,
whatever.
right, right.
Right? We lost the same person. I lost my mom. So that, right, what does that mean to lose a mom? It's different than losing a wife. Like
It
it's
is, it is,
different.
and I've been through both of those, so
Right.
it is different.
And not because your mom got old. Your mom died young. She
Oh
was in
yeah,
her young 50s and you were in like your young 20s.
yeah. She was 53, so
Yeah.
when I was in my 20s. So it's a different kind of thing, and but that's what happens. You have to move on in life. You just have to do that, whatever that means. You can't be saying the cottage prayer forever. You can't be um, saying love poems or whatever. The reason I came up with a sonnet, I saw one that I thought
That's
was,
cool. I don't think I knew you did that. I love that.
yeah, yeah.
Because you
But
still had a need, but you were beyond what a Jewish requirement, but also maybe you on some level still needed something, but needed not to do the same thing.
well, no, I knew I needed to give that part of it, the cottage part.
Yeah.
I knew I needed to do that because that's not moving forward. And I was
Yeah.
also in grief.
sometimes we have to let go of things even when
That's
we're
right.
not ready.
And and I was in grief counseling too, so that was very helpful. Um,
Right.
you know, and so so I went to what I felt was a logical next step for me to honor this what we were doing, and then I could see that gradually that was starting to wane, and that was a good thing. I felt good about that, um, and that's why I knew that I was that things were changing, getting better. Um, and that was good. So I felt started to feel better about that because you can't, like I said, you can't stay with that forever. You got to move on and get out of that because
Yeah.
someone said life is for the living, and it's true. Sitting around in four walls all the time, um, that's not really healthy, especially because I'm a people person. I know myself well enough. So,
Yeah.
so you just have to move on. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, uh,
Yeah. 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 It's yes, there's a spectrum of how social we all are, but like we need even those of us that are the least social need human connection, right?
absolutely
And especially at times that of our at our saddest, and at times of loss and at times of grief. Um, and yeah, and especially someone like you who like is a very social person, right? Making sure that that need still gets met, right?
right,
And
right. And that, and
um,
I have friends and family, and you are family, and you are obviously one of them. But I have friends who are just very helpful to me, very kind, very thoughtful, and that was helpful. And
yeah,
that
people would call you and be like, "Hey, what are you doing? Like, want to
right,
go out to dinner or, grab
yeah,
lunch, grab coffee, grab a drink."
right. So that was, and a lot of times I was reluctant. There were a few people I never turned down when they invited me over because it was comfortable. They knew Peely well,
Yeah.
uh, that kind of thing. So. And they were grieving at the same time, but so that it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
That was helpful.
Yeah, they were also suffering the loss of a friend,
Right.
and
No,
felt, yeah, there was, for many reasons would call you up.
right. And they invited me to things, but I also realized when you get invited to a party for something, that's very nice, and people who may know you and they talk and that, but after the first few minutes, you're standing there basically alone,
Yeah. It's
and
tough. Yeah.
that's awful. That was awful. It happened. I don't know. Well, maybe only once or twice, but so I didn't go to things like that after for a long time.
Yeah.
I didn't like going to those in the beginning because, but Peely and I used to sit there and talk, and it was fine. We just got
Yeah, when you go to like something a little more organized than that, you at least you go with a buddy, right? You go
right,
with,
right,
you
right.
know,
So anyway, but so well, it was nice that people did that, but then they were close enough that I could tell them, look, I'm not, it's just
I'm not up for it. I'm not feeling, yeah.
right, yeah, just they understood, and they were wonderful to try and be attentive, but can't be attentive all night long like you had a
Yeah.
partner there. So anyway, that's a process. That's a
That makes
process.
sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes you wouldn't even sometimes you just weren't up for it. You're just feeling like, and whether you should or you shouldn't get out of the house, sometimes you're just like, "Ah, I don't feel like it.
That's right. That's right.
Sometimes you got to push yourself and be like, shit, I really haven't been out in a while. All right, I'll come. I don't feel like it, but I'll come.
Right. Well, and
And then
you had to be
sometimes
in a
you're just
very
like, look, I'm just not up for it.
right. So you have to be in a very safe environment to do that. And I had my sports outlet, so that was also good. I mean, that I've always loved. I mean, to watch Syracuse basketball is not so joyful right at the moment, but I enjoy watching my sports teams, and that was my being able to get away from everything for a little while. So that was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, if you see us both looking for the audience, we keep turning to, and I have to listen to this afterwards because I don't know, mine's humming in the background. It's distracting me. I don't know if it's
I can't hear.
oh, you muted it? Oh, you're a better man than
No,
I.
no, no, no. Oh no, yeah, I don't have. I have the T. I don't hear your TV, and I
Oh,
don't hear mine because my TV's muted.
okay. Well, that makes sense.
So,
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
have
watching
we're
this.
watching Syracuse basketball. I went to Syracuse. I graduated 20 years ago.
But
I graduated 20 years
some of
ago.
us never graduated. It's
Yeah,
just, it's
yeah,
like ESPNU, don't
yeah.
ever graduate. So
Is that their motto? Sorry, technical issue on my end. Where we left off, ESPNU never is their motto never graduate?
yeah, well, it's a thing that they say is never graduate, and they do
I
that,
love that. I don't
and
think I
that's
knew they
why I
did that.
said, you know,
Yeah, so my dad and I we have the game on. We're watching Syracuse basketball. My freshman year, they won the national championship.
has been downhill ever since.
Well, there's nowhere to go but down,
That's right, but they've, you know,
It's been rough. It's been
yeah,
rough.
yes.
We My dad is in Baltimore. That's where I grew up, so we're huge Oriole fans. I'm a bigger Ravens fan than my dad. My dad is a Ravens fan, but he grew up a Washington Redskins fan. We actually were super into them when they last won in the early 90s, and then that faded and the Ravens came and I jumped on that and so did my dad, but not as intensely as I
Right,
have.
not emotionally, not as emotionally as you do. So,
I
uh,
was thinking
but
about
we're
it when they
still,
lost to the Steelers, and I think I may hate them more than the Yankees.
uh, uh, you see, that's because you grew up disliking them. When I was a younger football fan, they were winning the Super Bowls, and they were with Chuck Noll and all those days, and but I didn't hate them. Didn't think they were in the same division as the Redskins. I just didn't hate them.
The Steelers were?
They're an AFC team. Redskins were the Washington team, now called the Commanders, was an NFC team. So you didn't have that kind
Oh,
of
so
thing.
you didn't.
No,
Right, that's what I'm
no, yeah, yeah.
saying.
No, I grew up
Right, so
hating the
I'm
Dallas.
saying, my this is like the
Oh
rivalry
yeah,
team for me.
right.
Where the
Well,
Yankees I grew up hating.
right.
Um,
And I still do. And I grew up
I
hating
still
them.
do too, but it's just, I was like watching this game and like Aaron Rodgers, and I was just like,
He's just. Oh,
I
shouldn't
think
say
I
that.
just I've always known I've hated them, but I was like they might be they might get the worst out of me than anybody. Um I'm kind I'm kind of just been cruising for decades with the Yankees, just like ugh. Um anyway, so yeah, so we talk a lot of sports, we talk a lot about life, and we weave them together, in the same conversation. Um, but I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad time has, healed your wounds. I like force myself to think about like on the 22nd, my life, like I have three children, right? I have almost 12-year-old, 10-year-old, and 6-year-old, and Thursdays it was on a Thursday, and Thursdays are my busiest days. I'm taking one kid here, one kid there, another kid back to another place. Like, ooh, this kid's got basketball, this kid's got this. Like, so like you were saying before, how like mom being gone isn't like so in front of my face, days like her birthday when I'm like in my default, like automatic way of being and just being a dad mode and overstimulated in just the world that I live in, we all live in, which can be a very overstimulating world, to like stop and sit and like I have a recording of I have the recording of the funeral that's on like the synagogue website or the funeral home, the Saul Levinson website. I like will watch a clip of something or The King and I, the music, that, one of mom's favorite musicals or, some the part of the memory of my children is watching that with her or yeah, I don't know. So like I try to slow down and I think about her a lot anyway. Um One of the saddest things I remember, like during the funeral or during just that time, was part of what's so crazy is that it's so surreal because this person's always there. So how all of a sudden are they not there and they're never going to be there again? And it's like really sad. It was really sad for me to think of that. It was sad for me, but it's part of life and it's good that her not being around becomes normal. Like it's like part of it now. Like you said, like this is this new chapter in our lives, our post-Peely chapter. This is what it looks like without her. What does it look like for you? What does it look like for me? What does it look like with us? You know, the way we operate is totally different. I'm totally in communication with you about when we get together, when you come up here, when I come down there. You know, she plays no role in it now, right? Like when I talk with, she was like the glue for all of us, and now we operate without her. And we've it's not totally gotten used to it. There's still a hole, but it's become more routine, more normal, like on,
Right,
and it only over time will it become more normal and
right,
routine. Um, and so that was like I like thought about that. And like I was like, eventually this is just, you know, my kids, were this was 2 years ago. Eventually, my grandfather died, I was 5. So at the time that was a lot. But now at almost 42, he wasn't part of my life most of it.
right. Well, I also think,
And that also makes me sad that, my kids, she was only around, she's been a part of most of my kids' lives, but by the time they go to college, she will have only been, just part of their lives. And
right.
then further on from that,
But I think, though, that she has left her legacy, certainly with Ellie and Eva, because they're
Yeah,
the olders.
my nieces, my
Yeah, and they
19
live
and
here in
60-year-old
Baltimore.
nieces.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Well,
But
they lived near you guys. So
yeah, we take care of them so much,
you
and
guys were very active grandparents.
right,
And
right.
so,
But well, I do, I hear from you and at times with Jess that somebody says something about Peleus did something, or they
yeah,
remembered that. And even Jameson says stuff once in a while. And that
yeah,
was actually one of her great sadnesses was that Jameson wouldn't remember her.
yeah,
And you don't know that. I mean, you could say, "Oh, sure he would, sure he would." But what the hell? I didn't know if he would, but he does.
yeah,
He does. When whatever way he is,
yeah. Jameson's my son, my 6-year-old son.
yeah, yeah. So he
And
remembers that stuff, and I know that Charlie and Noah do as well because they've said
yeah,
stuff to me.
no, you're certainly right. You're certainly
So
right. I love hearing when they remember something or, like you said, left a legacy or had an impact that, like, I mean, she was a big presence, right? So, like,
yes,
for her, for them to remember something or just live a certain way or speak a certain way about something, it was because she did whatever she did to have that
right, right,
impact,
yeah,
sprinkle whatever
yeah,
level of. She was
and we
also,
spent
a lot of it's like Jewish tradition, she
well,
was
we spent a
very
lot of holiday time
a
together.
lot of Jewish holidays,
Yeah, yeah,
so those will be really good memories for the kids.
right,
I think they'll keep forever.
right, and the
For a
Peely
long time.
wave. What did she do? How did she do that? Oh,
She used to wave like this. It's like a lot of wrist. It's a lot of wrist.
okay. So they
Oh
remember
my
that.
God. Well, that's the thing, right? Is so Eliana was the first one to do that. And I had never thought about it. I was like, oh my
That's
God,
right.
my mom does wave like that. She was like, Peely wave. And it was while she was alive. She was like, Peely, you wave like this. And we were
Yeah, no, I
just
think
like,
we have a video
I
of
started
that.
cracking up. I was like, Mom, you do wave like that.
Yeah,
Um, oh, yeah. So it's like, she had such an impact on especially the two older grandchildren who live nearby. And then yeah, certainly my children, for sure. And my wife and all of us. So no, it's nice. It's nice to think about her. Um, but yeah, so that's the first episode. I'm sure we'll talk more about like future episodes, other things, heavy things, also lighter things, sports things, whatever, whiskeys or something. But Yeah, no,
Right.
Dad, I appreciate
Right.
you sharing how how things go for you, having been through what you've been through. Um, and yeah, we'll talk again soon. All
You
right?
bet. Right.
All right. I love you,
Love you,
Dad.
buddy. Take care.
Where's the end button?
That's the one that says green.
There it is. It's red.
All
All
right.
right, love you, Dad.
Love you too, buddy. Take care.
All right, bye.